I too would like to thank you for coming. I'm jazzed up right now. I had a really excellent day. I don't know if you're all aware of what happens on a day like today, but I started at 7 this morning and I got to tour the whole entire district. And the exciting thing for me is I have experience at each level in this district, but today I was reintroduced and re-energized about what it means to work and have our kids go to school in the school district of Fort Atkinson. This place is amazing. It is simply amazing. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. I bring just about 27 years of hometown experience to Fort Atkinson. I was a special education teacher when I first started out, and I was called by Claire Fry, the secretary then, and I didn't even apply here. And prior to the time that happened, my wife and I used to live in Marshfield, and my wife Lynn is here tonight, and I'd like to thank her for coming and her support through all this, because if you don't know, there's special people, principals' wives. But we used to drive through Fort Atkinson on our way home to Burlington, through Fort Atkinson to Burlington, and we'd often comment about how nice of a town this looked like and wouldn't it be a great place to live. And the stars aligned for us because I got the call from Fort Atkinson to come and interview to be a special education teacher either at the middle school or the high school. So I started out at the middle school, and I was a Trojan then. They were the Trojans back in the day. And then I had a very good mentor at the middle school, Mr. Bill Moran, who I really cherish my professional relationship with him. And he said, hey, you got good stuff, guy. You should be thinking about administration. And they had an application for an intern position at Fort Atkinson High School at the old building. And so I went and applied for that position, and I then became a Blackhawk for the first time. And I enjoyed that, and I stayed there for 3 years. And then I got a little antsy. I wanted to be a principal, and so I told my wife, I'm going to start looking at some jobs. And Lynn and I went on a road trip one day to a place that had a principal opening, and she was shaking her head. And she gave it to me straight. She told me, you're not going anywhere, buddy, unless they have everything that Fort Atkinson has. And she was right, like she usually is. And there aren't many places who have it like we have it here. And so I worked at the elementary school, and then I was approached by the superintendent, then Dr. Jerry McGowan, to take over as the principal at the middle school. And I loved my job at Rockwell and being a roadrunner, but I thought it was right for me, and I was very confident in my ability to take that. It had some big things associated to it because they were going to be moving from the old Luther building to what's now the old high school, and there was some remodeling. And that's where I first was introduced to Dr. Abbott, who was my trustee associate, and we're very good, very, very good colleagues. That's also the place where I was able to hire Mrs. Amy Oakley as one of the English teachers. And that's where I became a shark. So, and I stayed at that position, and I love that position too, and I never thought that I'd leave it either. And then our current superintendent and good mentor of mine, Dr. James Fitzpatrick, asked me to take this position, and I've been a Blackhawk ever since. So I've had lots of mascots, I've had lots of experience, and mostly what I've had is good fortune of working with good, strong teachers, colleagues, good parents, support of the community. I've had opportunities like you cannot believe here in Fort Atkinson. And I've learned a lot. And each one of those positions has brought me to this spot today. This is not something that I just decided on a coin flip. In fact, I went back and I went forth. I went back and I went forth. And here is what I'm here to tell you today. I'm the right person for this position. I want it with my whole heart and soul. My life is here, my home is here. And I want to be the steward of this district and be a steward of the community of Fort Atkinson. I'm ready for this job. I'm really ready for it. Today when I went through those schools, it was amazing. It was simply amazing what was going on there. And I'll tell you what, I've worked at every level, and it doesn't matter what year it's been, there's always something that's not as good as we'd like it to be, but there are some people that are working really, really hard in this district in spite of not some great times. And they're doing it for their love of kids. And you should hear the youngsters talk in the manner they do about their learning or how they've come to an answer. It's exciting. It's really exciting. I think there's some people out there that say, well, we don't want you to leave the high school. There was part of me that said, I don't want to leave the high school, and there's always going to be part of me that said that, or is going to say that, and I said it about Rockwell, I said it about the middle school, I said it about it when I left the classroom. It's the right thing for me to do, and I'm the right guy for the job. I am. I'm a capable, professional leader. My focus is learning. One of the coolest things I got to do today, there were so many cool things, but one of the most meaningful for me was to walk into Rockwell Elementary School. One of the first things that I did when I went to Rockwell Elementary School is I thought, this place is a little sterile for me, and I'm sort of an artsy-fartsy guy, if you don't know that, and I like things to be vibrant and colorful, and I made these big royal blue number 1s, and I wrote down the stem of it, learning. I put those all over the building. And then I went to every single classroom there and I talked with kids, sat pretzel style in front of them, sat in those little teeny tiny chairs, and I got to do it again today, sit in teeny tiny chairs. A little rougher today than it was. But I talked to them about learning being their number 1 job. And it warmed my heart. And it helped me understand that that core value has been with me wherever I go. At the high school, I talk to kids about graduation and learning being our purpose here. That they need to have fun here, but they need to get the job done. We're a school, we're about learning. We're a school district, we're about learning. That focus won't change as I go to the superintendency. It just won't. It's all about student achievement. And the way you get good, high-level student achievement is through quality instruction. And I'm a proponent of collaboration, finding time so people can work together, and I think we need to pay attention to pulse and pace here. I really think we do, and I think that we need time to work together to keep things going strong. In my opinion, what our district needs right now is a steady course forward, because I think we're going good places. I don't think, I know we're going good places. If you had my day, you'd know too. We're going good places. There's some rough water coming up. We need to keep that ship going in the right direction, always pointed on improvement, and keep it stable. I can do that for you. I'll work my butt off for this district. I'll do everything, and I don't think I can be the same guy Dr. Fitzpatrick was or is, but I'll try and replicate the best pieces of him and even give you more. This job is right for me. I belong in it, and I care about the kids in this district, and I care about my kids, my own kids that are still in this district, and I care about this community, and I am ready for this position. I've not only been a long-time resident of Fort Atkinson. In fact, my wife and I call this home. We don't talk about home being Burlington. We go there to visit now and say, aren't we glad we left? Once in a while. We never stay overnight when we go to visit. But the other thing that is so cool about this job is the community we live in. We are so lucky to have the community support that we have and the opportunity that we have. And I referred to my wife's comments earlier about we're not going anywhere unless it has what Fort has. This is such a great place to raise a family. It's a great place to be an educator because the time is right for partnerships to come together on behalf of our children and do really good things. I've been involved as a project lead facilitator For those of you who don't know what Project Lead is, that's where you actually work with a group of new young leaders that are developing their skills, and I was the leadership facilitator for 4 years for that group, and every year beyond that I've worked as the educational session director. That's a great program that the Chamber has put together, and it's one example of my leadership in the community as well. And as a superintendent, my leadership in the community needs to grow. I understand that, and it will grow. I'm very excited to become a member of the library's board. I would love to help out wherever I can. I understand that it's not the school corral only, and that I have to gallop outside there and do it very strongly, and I can. I've been a Rotarian, a proud Rotarian. They support education like crazy. And I was served as their president and have been on their board of directors. And I just want you to understand that part of who I am is a steward of this community as well as a school leader. And I think that the school district is better off when people work together in partnership, and we've been lucky to have that, and I want to build it more. I think that I'm a demonstrated leader. I think that people find me genuine, approachable. I want to remain genuine and approachable. But mostly what I want you to remember about tonight is this. I'm committed to Fort Atkinson, to student achievement, and quality instruction, so that that is our goal, and it continues to be our goal for a very, very long time. I guess some of you might not want me to leave the high school, and I guess I'm happy that you think that, but I hope that you can support me, because the right thing for me to do is assume the position of superintendent. I want it, and I'm going to go after it, and I'm going to get it. And I'm going to do it all for the right reasons, ladies and gentlemen. I really appreciate you being here this evening, and I'd be very, very happy to entertain any questions if I still have time to do that. Do you have a question?
No, I'm just glad you mentioned Project Lead.
As I asked the other candidates, what's something that you have been a part of in the school district that you've been most proud of?
That's a tough question to answer, because I've been part of a lot of different things. Are you saying you can't hear me back there? Oh, repeat the question. She's asking what's something I've been part of in the school district of Fort Atkinson that I'm proud of. Well, first of all, I've been part of a fabulous, an outstanding administrative team here that works very, very hard. But I could say that the same of my staff. My staff here and my previous staffs have always worked very hard to try and do the right things for kids, and I really believe that. I get that there are some people once in a while that go astray a little bit, but I think that there's people that work very hard to get things done. And what I'm proud of is the leadership in this district and the fact that I've been a part of it. And you know what? I've always been proud to work here, but after today, I'm 10 times as proud. If you see what's going on in those classrooms, I'm really proud of the people that are working their tails off at the elementary, the middle, and the high school to make things happen. I'm excited about standards-based assessment, because I think when you want to achieve high results, I think that you have to have a stable target, and that's what standards do. And I think kids need to know what they're aiming for and how they're going to be evaluated on that. And more importantly, they need the support and instruction to help get them there. So I'm proud of so many things here. I'm proud. I will tell you one of the things that I'm really proud of is the culture at this high school. Respect 24/7 has been something that's really core to me, and you can take a look at the bulletin board out here. I don't think it's covered by art, but take a look at the art too, because it's pretty cool. I know my students. They give me energy. I'm proud of how they conduct themselves most of the time as a student body and who they are as young adults. And I'm proud of that because I've made it my business to be in their business. And I think that if you're going to be a good instructional leader, you need to know the people that are the number one customer, in my opinion, and that's the students. And I've done that at every level, and I'm proud of that. And I think that if you talk to most of those kids, in fact, one of you told me today that they found out that I was applying for their job, and their son said, well, I hope he doesn't get it. I want him to stay at high school. That makes me proud, that kind of thing. Lucy.
Would you just talk to us a little bit about how you would plan or work with the union? Because we're still pretty strong here and we'd like to keep it that way.
Well, here's my deal. I'm going to work very hard and very honestly and very genuinely with our stakeholders. There's no other option. What I want to do with unions is I want to have honest conversations about what we can do, what we can't do, but I need us to stay focused on the organization and the learning goals and how we do that with the resources that we're giving. But I will tell you this, my interactions with everyone will be respectful, they'll be genuine, and I believe in transparency. At my first interview, they asked how I would differ with my conversation with internal and external stakeholders, and I believe that I said that they'd be as close as I possibly can, because I believe in that word transparency, and I think that people need to understand things at a common level, and it needs to be a group understanding. I don't like an us against them, and I think it's through understanding that people can work together. Barb.
How do you think we could increase our teachers' pay? I am extremely worried that we are going to be losing lots of candidates and new students, over the next 5 to 10 years, because the salaries are not livable. They're really too low. And we've got to have some ideas on how to get our teachers' salaries, because good people will stay. And I believe that if we pay people well, we get good results too, because then they seek us out.
Well, I agree with what you're saying, but I believe it's about resources. And what I really believe is that when things get tight, that's when people really need to work closely together and take an inventory of what's going on in a district and start thinking and talking creatively about what's going on. Are there some things that we're doing that we don't need to do? Can we do things differently? I think that some of the best decisions or initiatives pop up on the verge of controversy. And I agree, Barb. I think that there's no secret that a lot of people feel shaken in the state, and the forecast isn't real good for the future. But I think we need to hold tough together and figure out a way. But I'm going to tell you this very clearly. I believe that teachers and all people who work in schools and people everywhere deserve to be paid fairly. But I also think that depends on the resources that are available. And so just because Jeff Zaspel becomes superintendent doesn't mean that there's going to be more money here or there or anywhere. But I think what I will bring to the table is honest, open communication about that. We had conversation earlier today about, hey, it's really been unfortunate. It's been a big hit to educators, how it's gone down, and we need to be looking about it and talking about it. But I will tell you very honestly, I don't have the answers, but I'm up for the conversation. And I'll be respectful, I'll be genuine, and I'll find out the information that I need to find out so that we can be pointed in a direction where it gets better. The biggest thing for me is unity. We need to be in it together. We need to keep our focus on student achievement even through the tough times when we can. It's like being a big family and you don't have enough money to buy maybe the steak. Doesn't mean you don't stop eating together. You just eat the mac and cheese and the casseroles. And I mean, you do it together, knowing and staying together and knowing that you're going to get to a better place when you can get to a better place or work to get to a better place. I am not a perfect man and I don't have all the answers, Barb. If I had the answer to that question, I could run for state superintendent. I'm sorry I couldn't give you a more concrete or detailed answer. Yes?
What do you bring to the position as your greatest strength, and what do you feel is an area that you would most like to see improvement in?
I have a passion for students, their learning, and quality instruction. I do. And I think my knowledge of this district and this community serve as a strength, not only for me, but for all of you. My challenge will be that I'm a new superintendent, but I've been a new high school principal, I've been a new associate principal, and I work hard. You can ask the people who know me best, maybe that lady over there that I gave a ring to, but I am a worker, and I intend to pour myself into it, and sometimes I even have been told that I work too much, but I'll go after it. I'm a young man, well, an older man, but a young superintendent going into this position. And so I'm going to need to do what I did today, is I have had a high school focus, and what I need is a wider focus, and I need to pay attention very closely. I need to pay attention to it with wide-angle vision so it works, and it works for all of us. And the other thing that's a real big strength for me is I have people who support me and have been a safety net for me before, who have been supporters for me, and I have that going for me right here in Fort Atkinson. And any new job is sort of a weakness, I think. But I believe, I know I have the right skill set and I have the passion for the job. I want that job. Any other questions you'd like to ask me? I am so appreciative that you came out this evening to hear what I have to say. I thank you for your time and your interest in our schools and our support for our schools. Fort Atkinson really truly is a wonderful place with wonderful teachers, with wonderful students, with wonderful opportunities to go forward. I really believe that in my heart of hearts. This is a great place, and I want to lead it, and if you give me the opportunity, I will do it justice. Thank you very much.